fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Hi, I'm ARose. I'm TNorth. And I'm JMajor, and we're talking about petrol fuel injection system.
There are three types of fuel injection: single point, multi-point and direct injection.
Single point injection was used from the mid-80s through to the mid-90s. It was very similar to a carby but had an injector in the throttle body instead of a jet. The intake manifold was heated with coolant to prevent fuel condensing on the walls. This was abandoned in favour of multi-point fuel injection. Multi-point fuel injection is the most common type of fuel injection used today. In this setup there is an injector located in the intake manifold just before each cylinder. This setup gives better control over the amount of fuel used and better emissions. Direct injection works in a very similar way to common rail diesels but at a much lower pressure. Common rail diesels operate around 30,000 psi, direct injection 1,700 psi. Fuel is injected directly into the cylinder via an injector located in the cylinder walls. This setup gives greater control over fuel usage and better emissions. The IAC, or idle air control valve, is an electronically operated valve that is used to bypass the throttle body during idle to maintain a regular engine speed.
Stoichiometric ratio is the mass of air fuel present during combustion. 14.71 is the preferred ratio. It is used to get optimum engine performance, good fuel consumption and lower emissions. Too lean of a mixture or too rich of a mixture means that the cat will not function properly to cut down the emissions. Safety aspects to observe when working on petrol fuel systems: make sure protective clothing is worn, work in a well ventilated area, always block off fuel lines from entanglement when working on fuel systems, don't wear any jewellery that could create an arc and start a fire, always clean up fuel spills, always turn the vehicle off and disconnect battery before starting to work on a petrol fuel system.
The pressure regulator job is to regulate pressure in the system. It does this with a spring-loaded diaphragm that controls the valve. The valve is opened by excessive pressure in the fuel line. The vacuum connection is there to help reduce emissions.
This is the basic way of doing a fuel pressure test. We've just got the gauge hooked up to the fuel inline. It tells us what 35 psi. As you see, if he accelerates it goes up a bar, but then it brings itself back down. If we take the airline off the diaphragm for the pressure, it automatically goes 40 psi, stays up there. Even if you accelerate, doesn't really change it. That's also a good way to check your O2 sensor. You leave your line off or clamp your fuel return hose. The computer should slowly read that it's running too rich and wants to lend out, so when you put your hose back on or release the clamp off your fuel return line, it will go lean and it'll like barely run.
A good way for checking your is by plugging a computer into it, like this Tech2 scanner for the Commodores. A whole list of things that you can check. You got your mass sensor, your mass airflow per cylinder, your O2 sensors, those two just there, pulse width, injector voltage, air fuel ratio, EGR position. Effective unmetered air on modern fuel injection systems. Airflow sensors cannot tolerate air leaks into the intake system because of where they are situated. They can only read the air that is passing through the sensor. With more air entering the fuel mixture, it becomes more lean, causing a variety of drivability problems, e.g. rough, idle, poor engine performance and high fuel consumption.
The O2 sensor is one of the most important components in a fuel injection car. This determines whether the motor is running lean or rich, and sends a signal to the ECU to adjust the air fuel mix. checking to see if an O2 sensor is working properly is important because this determines how the entire car runs. One of the simple ways to test this is with a voltmeter. So you can hook a voltmeter up into the signal wire on the O2 sensor and earth it out. The reading on the voltmeter determines how rich or lean the mixture is. A high voltage indicates which mixture, and a low voltage indicate the lean mixture. As the load and engine speed in them increases, you can see the voltage change and the rate of change increases. If a O2 sensor is not performing properly, it will affect the way the motor runs.
Heat film air mass sensor. What is the sensor used for? To measure the air mass flow rate to provide data needed for clean combustion within the chamber. How does it work? This is achieved by heating your wire with an electrical current that is suspended in the engine's airstream, like a toaster wire. The wire's electrical resistance increases as the wire's temperature increases, which limits electrical current flow through the circuit. When air flows past the wire's cool, decreasing its resistance, which in turn allows more current to flow through the circuit. As more current flows, the wire's temperature increases until the current required to maintain the wire's temperature is directly proportional to the mass of air flowing past the wire.